the whole news peg here is that they're growing 10 times faster than the public SaaS markets. So if they're trailing 1 billion, what's the forward looking like? If the forward is looking like they are going to double revenue next year and they're going to be 2 million, well, then that multiple gets cut in half. If they're tripling, the multiple is a third of what it is. And then it becomes, much more,
Navan's growing in the 30s, Jason. So not anything like as quick as we're seeing from Ramp itself, but still that's the upper end of public SaaS, if you will.
Yeah. So if you're growing at 30%, 32%, it looks like they're growing at, they're a slow growth. They're a high growth amongst their contemporaries. There'd be slow growth versus this category of AI startups. So what's happening is there's a changing of the guard. The revenue growth rate of AI startups is just whooping the SaaS companies. And so if you're going to put your dollar somewhere, would you want to bet on the future with an AI startup that's high growth, or would you like to place in investors' mind, public investors, a bet on the past? The only reason to bet on the past is if they were mispriced. So if these startups that are SaaS-based are growing 30% and they're being priced, extremely low, then there would be takeout targets, and we have seen some
exactly.
So we have seen a little bit of that on the margins, and then you might be able to make a short-term trade on buying them because they could get taken out. All of this is to say, your growth rate matters, whether you're a 2-year-old startup or a 20-year-old company, an established one. The growth rate matters, and your profitability matters, and then in combination, eventually your valuation is weighed on a scale. So the famous quote is, valuations and stock prices are a voting mechanism, and then they eventually become a weighing mechanism. The voting mechanism is what happens in private markets. Okay, Ramp is private. We're all voting on this is going to be a very important company. Okay, Micro One in our portfolio has done exceptionally well. Okay, everybody's voting that they're going to be a great public company someday. OpenAI, people are voting that this is going to be a great public company someday. But then when
Once
they do become
public, then you get weighed based on your performance. And sometimes you can be the hottest company in the world, Jason, an absolute icon of the private markets. And then you can go public. And then after a certain amount of time, you can end up looking a little bit like Dropbox. The company shrank 0.7% in its most recent quarter. I don't think we talked about this, but this has been stuck in my head ever since it happened.
Wait, Dropbox is shrinking?
Dropbox. Yeah, see, no one noticed. Dropbox is shrinking. Look at this. Total revenue was $634.4 million, a decrease of 0.7% from the same period last year. Even worse on constant currency. This is what you're fighting against. You don't want to end up trying to yank more free cash flow out of flat revenue.
One of the great challenges of running a startup is getting your business and engineering teams on the same page. It's almost impossible to build the sleek, effective product your customers need if these teams aren't communicating well. If this sounds anything like your company, you need to check out DevStats. DevStats integrates your dev work and your business goals into a shared language that everyone can understand. One team using DevStats was dedicating half of their dev time to low-impact bug fixes and other internal busy work. And none of this was improving their product or, more importantly, delighting their customers. But after using DevStats, they were able to revise their allocations and workflow and start actually moving the company forward with impactful updates. So it's time to start focusing your team on the work that actually matters. Check out DevStats today, and we're going to give you 20% off, plus access to their dedicated Slack channel. Just go to devstats.com/twist for your 20% discount. That's DEVSTATS.com/twist.